Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin delivered significant news on Tuesday regarding one of the team's most important offensive contributors. Tight end Darnell Washington, now in his third season with the organization, has officially entered the NFL's concussion protocol following an injury sustained during Pittsburgh's 27-22 Week 14 road victory over the Baltimore Ravens. The announcement came as the Steelers began preparations for their upcoming Monday night matchup, and it left fans, teammates, and coaches alike reflecting on how impactful Washington's presence has become within the team's evolving offensive structure. According to Tomlin, the injury occurred late in the game, during a crucial sequence when the Steelers were attempting to maintain momentum and extend their lead. Washington, who has steadily developed into a versatile and reliable offensive weapon, had just secured a 12-yard reception from quarterback Aaron Rodgers, one of the many connections between the veteran signal caller and the young tight end that have become increasingly common throughout the season. After catching the pass in stride, Washington was immediately met by a Baltimore defender who delivered a forceful and well-timed tackle. The collision sent Washington crashing violently to the ground, where his head impacted the turf with notable force. Medical staff reacted quickly, escorting him to the team's blue medical tent for concussion evaluation. Observers on the sidelines noticed immediately that Washington appeared shaken and displayed some visible discomfort. After several minutes under examination, he exited the tent without his helmet, an unmistakable sign that he would not be returning to the field. He was sent to the locker room for further testing, and shortly after, the Steelers officially ruled him out for the remainder of the contest. The team continued the game without one of their most effective blockers and emerging pass-catching threats, and the change in offensive rhythm was felt almost instantly. Washington's absence loomed large in the final stages of the game. Despite the Steelers ultimately securing a hard-fought divisional win, one that placed them back atop the intensely competitive AFC North, the fourth-quarter performance by Pittsburgh's offense told a story of its own. The unit generated only 8 total yards across 3 drives following Washington's exit. Though the Ravens' defense deserves credit for tightening its approach, the sudden stagnation highlighted how heavily the Steelers rely on Washington's unique skill set. Whether deployed as a blocking anchor in the run game or as a big-bodied receiving option capable of creating mismatches across the middle of the field, he plays a role that is difficult to replicate within the current roster. Teammate and fellow tight end Connor Hayward spoke candidly about the disruption caused by Washington's injury. Hayward explained that losing Washington forced the offensive coaching staff, led in the moment by assistant coaches, to make rapid adjustments on the fly. According to Hayward, offensive assistant Art Rooney III stepped in with urgency, helping reorganize the reduced tight end personnel group and ensuring players understood the modified play calls needed to compensate for the loss of Washington's physical presence. Hayward emphasized that watching Washington leave the field was a big hit to the team, both emotionally and strategically. The offense had already been adjusting throughout the game to Baltimore's complex defensive looks, and losing Washington added another layer of difficulty to the challenge. Before the injury, Washington had solidified himself as a critical element of the Steelers' offensive identity. Through Week 14, he had accumulated 23 receptions for 288 yards and 1 touchdown, a modest yet meaningful contribution for a tight end whose role extends far beyond statistical production. His 6'7" frame and powerful build make him one of the most imposing tight ends in the league, particularly in blocking schemes. Washington's effectiveness in sealing edges, creating running lanes, and neutralizing opposing pass rushers has helped stabilize an offensive line that has endured its share of injuries and rotational changes throughout the season. His continued improvement in route running and pass-catching reliability has further elevated his value, positioning him as one of the team's most multidimensional assets. As the Steelers look ahead to their next contest, Tomlin provided additional updates on the team's overall health situation. Swing tackle Calvin Anderson has already been ruled out for the upcoming game, further highlighting the depth concerns along the offensive line. Meanwhile, offensive tackle Andrus Peat and linebacker Malik Harrison have joined Washington in concussion protocol, signaling a growing list of players needing clearance before they can return to action. The NFL's concussion protocol is a stringent, multi-step process designed to protect player safety, meaning there is no guaranteed timeline for when each affected player might return. In addition to the players in concussion protocol, several others are expected to begin the upcoming week as limited participants in practice. Defensive tackle Keanu Benton, who has been an emerging force on the defensive interior, is dealing with lingering physical issues that may affect his availability. Cornerback James Pierre, known for his role in special teams and rotational defensive duties, is also limited. Wide receiver Ben Skowronek, one of Pittsburgh's depth options in the receiving corps and on special teams, joins the list as he manages his own injury concerns. Defensive end Yehia Black is similarly restricted as he works through physical limitations. Each of these players contributes to specific situational packages, and their collective uncertainty creates additional challenges for the coaching staff as they construct game plans and depth charts. Despite the growing list of injuries, the Steelers remain in a strong position within the division. The recent win over the Ravens not only avenged earlier frustrations but also helped Pittsburgh reclaim the top spot in the AFC North, a division notorious for its physicality, competitiveness, and unpredictability. The Week 14 victory required grit, adaptability, and strong situational execution, especially given the adverse circumstances late in the game. While Washington's injury cast a shadow over the celebration, the team's performance reaffirmed its resilience and ability to overcome in-game adversity. The upcoming matchup against the Miami Dolphins brings its own unique challenges. Miami's high-powered offense, led by dynamic playmakers and a creative offensive scheme, will test the Steelers' defense extensively. Pittsburgh's ability to sustain long drives, protect Aaron Rodgers, and generate consistent offensive production will be essential to keeping the Dolphins off the field and maintaining control of the game tempo. Washington's availability, or lack thereof, may play a significant role in how effectively the Steelers can execute their preferred offensive strategy. Tomlin, known for his steady leadership and unwavering focus, expressed confidence in his team's ability to adjust regardless of who is available. However, he also acknowledged the importance of Washington's role and the need for other players to step up in his absence. The Steelers have relied heavily on their depth at multiple positions throughout the season, and this situation will further test the readiness of those lower on the depth chart. Players like Hayward, together with the remaining tight ends and defensive linemen, will need to fill the gap and elevate their performance. As Washington moves through the concussion protocol, the Steelers will monitor his progress closely. The protocol includes stages such as symptom resolution, light aerobic activity, increased cardiovascular exercise, non-contact football drills, and finally full contact practice, all of which must be completed without recurring symptoms before a player is cleared for game action. Given the importance of long-term health and player safety, the Steelers are expected to approach Washington's recovery with caution. For now, Pittsburgh remains focused on preparing for the Dolphins, addressing its injury challenges, and maintaining the momentum that has helped return them to first place in the division. Washington's status will continue to be a storyline to watch, especially as the Steelers push toward the postseason and depend on the contributions of key playmakers across both sides of the ball. Thanks for watching and see you soon.